Why is a bucket of movie theater popcorn so expensive? A large bucket that costs less than $1 to make can sell for $8, $12, even $15. It looks like the perfect business. Pour a handful of corn into a machine, add some oil, and suddenly you have a product with a markup that can exceed 1,000%. So is it just greed? Not exactly. Here's the part most people never see. If movie theaters stopped selling popcorn tomorrow, a surprising number of them would struggle to survive. That sounds absurd. After all, theaters are packed with people buying tickets for billion-dollar movies. How could a business that sells so many tickets depend on corn? To understand that, we need to follow the money. The popcorn itself is incredibly cheap. The kernels cost only a few cents. Add oil, salt, a paper bucket, and electricity, and the total production cost of a large serving is often around $1 or less. In some countries, it can be even cheaper. Yet the selling price is many times higher. At first, it feels like theaters are simply taking advantage of the fact that you can't easily buy popcorn from a competitor once you're inside. But that's only half the story. The really important question is this: where does the money from your ticket actually go? Most people assume the theater keeps most of it. In reality, the movie studio usually takes the larger share, especially during the first weeks of a blockbuster release. The exact percentage depends on the country, the film, and the contract, but in North America, studios can receive roughly 60 to 70% of the box office revenue in the opening week, and sometimes more. Imagine a $10 ticket. About $6 or $7 may go directly to the studio. The theater is left with only a few dollars before paying for rent, employee wages, utilities, cleaning, taxes, insurance, projector maintenance, and all the other expenses that keep the building running. A sold-out auditorium does not automatically mean a huge profit. In some cases, the theater earns surprisingly little from the ticket itself. But there is one product it does not have to share with the studio at all: popcorn. And not just popcorn. Soft drinks, nachos, candy, hot dogs, and other snacks are usually controlled entirely by the theater. This is why people in the industry often joke that theaters don't sell movies. They sell concessions. For many theater chains, food and beverage sales make up a much smaller portion of total revenue than ticket sales, yet they can generate a disproportionately large share of the operating profit. That creates a strange paradox. Movies bring people into the building. Popcorn helps pay the bills. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Why do people willingly buy such expensive food in the first place? The answer is psychology. Popcorn smells amazing, and that is not an accident. The aroma is deliberately spread through the lobby. Research on food marketing shows that smell can trigger cravings before a person has consciously decided to buy anything. Then there's the waiting effect. Most people arrive early. They have 10 or 15 minutes before the movie starts. They're standing around looking at the menu and not doing much else. That moment is perfect for impulse purchases. The pricing is also carefully designed. Suppose a small popcorn costs $6, a medium costs $8, and a large costs $9. Suddenly, the large seems like an incredible deal. The medium isn't there because the theater expects everyone to buy it. It's there to make the large look reasonable. Behavioral economists call this a decoy effect, and it works remarkably well. But if the prices are so high, why not just bring your own snacks from a supermarket? This is where many people misunderstand the rules. In a lot of countries, the law does not specifically ban bringing food into a movie theater. However, the theater is private property, which means it can set its own conditions for entry. Most major chains prohibit outside food and drinks. The reason is rarely cleanliness. It's economics. If everyone bought snacks elsewhere, theaters would lose one of their most profitable revenue streams. In fact, many theaters earn more profit from the popcorn you buy than from the ticket you bought to enter the movie. That's why staff members often pay closer attention to bags of food than people expect. Now here's a detail that makes the whole story even stranger. Popcorn was not always associated with movies. In the early 1900s, many upscale theaters considered popcorn too cheap and too messy. It was viewed as street food that didn't belong in an elegant entertainment venue. Then the Great Depression hit. People had far less money, and popcorn remained one of the cheapest treats available. Vendors began selling it outside theaters because moviegoers could still afford a small snack, even when budgets were tight. Eventually, theater owners realized something painful. They were watching other people make money from the crowds gathering at their doors. So they brought popcorn inside, and once they did, it never left. Today, the connection between movies and popcorn feels almost inevitable. But historically, it was a business decision born out of economic survival. That's the twist. We tend to think theaters make money from films. In many cases, films are the attraction that fills the seats, while concessions are the products that help keep the theater alive. So the next time you look at a giant bucket of popcorn that costs almost as much as your ticket, it may not just be an overpriced snack. It may be the thing that makes the movie theater possible in the first place.